to my YouTube channel. This is Open Diary with Ezi. My name is Etsani, and as you know, it's Womanhood Wednesday, where we discuss real issues that impact us as women, issues that I have personally experienced, and I would love to just share them and build a community where as women we can talk about topics that are hardly ever talked about. And today's topic is endometriosis. Okay, for those that don't know what endometriosis is, for me, it's a condition that I've been living with since I was 26 years old. Um, and it's been a tough condition, if I'm being honest, because I didn't have much information except the information that I could get on Google. But let me do a backstory on explaining what endometriosis is for those that may not know it. So endometriosis is when cells that are supposed to grow inside of your uterus, which is your womb, now grow outside of your uterus. So they would either attach with your fallopian tubes or other organs that are near your uterus. That can actually result in tremendous pain because those cells are outside of the womb, meaning that whenever hormones activate whatever they're supposed to do within the womb, the outside cells also react, which causes inflammation and a lot of pain. So with me, my periods started when I was 10, 11. I was quite early. And when they started at the time, they didn't even teach about periods and what they were. And I had no idea what they were. And I remember, thank God, I had a big sister who could explain to me thoroughly what happened, what happens, what is going on and everything. But you can imagine, I was still quite young and I was a heavy bleeder. But because I didn't know anything else different, I thought everybody bleeds like that and I thought it was normal. Meaning that I never bothered to say I'm going to go and consult a doctor about it or anything like that because I did not realize that it was something that was not common with everyone. That being said, I went on years with heavy bleeding to a point where if I was at school, by break time, I should be running to the bathroom and I should make sure I wear a big pad. That's how bad my periods were. But nevertheless, it never bothered me because I assumed everybody goes through the same thing. All right, fast forward, I went and I had my son. After having my son, the heavy bleeding continued. But I think it was well managed because I started using Evra patch, meaning that even though I was still bleeding, it wasn't as heavy as it used to be. But I thought that comes with the growth of, after having a child, things change, things shift. So that should be normal. Okay, after that, let me now describe how the endo started with me. So there was a day when I was at work and I was sitting and then I had this sharp pain. The pain hits you here at the back, it hits you here at the front, and it basically locks your knees. So I remember sitting there thinking to myself, okay, what's going on? But I'm trying not to show it because I'm at work and I love to be professional. I don't like people on my personal business. Then after a few minutes, the pain went, right? So I thought nothing of it. I thought, okay, it's just normal. And then there was a time now when I was at home and I was with my husband and I couldn't move. I couldn't stand. I couldn't sit. And I was just like, I was so scared. And my husband could see the kind of pain that I was in. And he kept asking, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know, but this is what I'm feeling. So my husband said to me, oh, okay, have you felt this pain before? I'm like, I have, but it wasn't this long. So it's like every time it was getting longer and more painful. And guys, you know that pain that hits you here on your butt, né? There's this bone on your butt there. And then it hits you here. Like it was so bad that I couldn't do anything. And then again, I didn't think of anything. I didn't think of it as much still. I did go to my doctor and I didn't go to a specialist. I just went to my doctor. And because at the time when I went to my doctor, I wasn't going through that pain. He couldn't really pinpoint what the issue was, but he just said to me, no, maybe it was, I don't know, it's like maybe it was something that had to do with your periods, maybe because your periods were near, something like that. And I let it go. Then again, the following month, around the same time, so now I started to keep track of when it was coming. So it would usually come, so I would have my week of periods. After week of period, the third week after having my periods, then I'm going through that pain. And the pain, it comes so unexpectedly. And so I was like, no, man, there has to be something wrong. That's when I decided to say, you know what, let me book an appointment with my gynecologist because it was starting to worry me now to a point where there was a day when I was with my son and I couldn't move and my husband wasn't home, meaning that I just had to lie there and wait for the pain to go. And sometimes the pain doesn't go. It can last several days. So you can imagine how that feels like. So when I went to my gyna was like, okay, he asked me a few questions. And when he asked me a few questions, he's like, no, how regular do you get the pain? Where do you get the pain? Can you describe the pain? I described everything to him. And then after that, he was like, okay, I do suspect it might be endo, but there's no way of knowing for sure that is endometriosis. But what I can do for now, just to give you some comfort, is do a scan. Let me do a scan. Usually, if you have endo, it also results in ovarian cysts, because those tissues that are on the outside of your uterus, they bleed and the blood is stuck, meaning that they end up forming different cysts, hence the inflammation. And it activates at a certain time based on what the hormones are doing in your body. Like, for example, if I'm ovulating, that's when I get my pain the most. If I'm near my periods, that's where I get my pain the most. So I started to keep track of such things to know when the pain comes and things like that. Then he did a scan, and then when he did a scan, he's like, you have 2 ovarian cysts that I can see that are quite big. The other ones are small, I don't mind them, but these 2 big ones are quite dangerous, because if they rupture, then they can spread throughout your other organs, and that can cause danger onto your body. So he's like to me, so he explained everything thoroughly. He's like, okay, there's this condition called endometriosis, but the only way to know for sure if you have endometriosis, which are the cells that grow outside of your uterus, is for us to do a laparoscopy. And I was like, okay, what is that? Then he said to me, no, it's a procedure of which we insert a camera onto your belly button, and one up, and then a cable there, and then a cable there. That camera shows them, it guides them for them to see the other growth that is outside the uterus. He's like, but I need to be honest with you about this condition. For most women, this condition means infertility. For most women, this condition means having a tough time conceiving. So you have to understand the implications of whether I do this operation or not. It doesn't mean it's going to solve the condition, but at least it will give you a better chance to start over and try and see how to go on from there. Okay, I got home. I was quite scared, because now, as much as I had one child, I had my son already, a part of me still wanted to grow my family. And now hearing this possibility of infertility, or possibility of not being able to fall pregnant again, you can imagine how that felt like. Like, I was scared. And then I got home with my husband and we discussed it. And my husband said to me, okay, how do you feel about it? Do you want to do the procedure? I don't want to do the procedure. I'm like, to be honest with you, if I say I don't want to do the procedure, it means I'm committing to living in pain every single month around this time, because the pain was now going for like a week, to a point where sometimes I had to book off at work and it was becoming difficult. So I said to him, I'd rather do this procedure, even though I know it may not 100% solve the problem. The growth may still come back, but at least I know we tried. And then my husband said to me, okay, whatever you decide, I support you. Cool. The day of the procedure, we went there in the morning. I was number 3 on the list, and then by 11 o'clock I was going in, did the procedure. So basically the procedure, they pump you with gas onto your stomach, and then after pumping gas, then they now insert the camera. They do openings and they insert the camera, and then they insert tools that they can go in there and check everything. By that, I'm not feeling anything, because obviously, I am put to sleep, which is fine. When I woke up, guys, when I woke up, the pain was intense. I was vomiting, I was in pain, and then luckily my husband was there, and it was painful. It was really painful. And then the doctor explained that no, the recovery usually takes 4 to 6 weeks, so just take it easy for now. You can't do anything physical, because that might actually open up the stitches. Okay, cool. I went home. I won't lie, the first week was tough. The first week was tough, because I'm literally surviving on painkillers. You are in so much pain that you can't even explain. And you are bloated, like, because of that gas. You are bloated, your shoulders are painful because of that gas. I don't know why, but somehow your whole body becomes painful with that gas that they pump you. But then after a week, things started to die down, and then by the end of second week, I went back for checkup. He did a scan, he checked everything. He's like, no, you're on the clear, all is good. I don't see any issues. But one of the things he advised me was, you have to understand your body, learn to understand your body, and understand what triggers it, what doesn't. Because in most situations, you might find that there are things in your diet that you can eliminate to help you not to go through this pain. So I was like, okay. So from there, I was so determined because I did not want to see myself going through that procedure again. Like, guys, one thing about me, I don't like hospitals. I don't like procedures. But unfortunately, sometimes life happens and you find yourself in those situations. So now, after that, after 2-3 months, that pain comes back again. But this time it's not as intense as it was. I remember telling my husband that, dude, I'm not going back to the hospital. I am not going back because I was scared. I was scared and thinking of the fact that I still want to try for baby number 2 and now this condition is not going. Then that's when somebody suggested certain products for me to use and to also look at my diet. Then I picked up that whenever I eat sugar, whenever I eat carbs, especially over processed carbs, and whenever I eat gluten and dairy, that's when everything goes south for me. Like, it's like those things that just trigger all the bad hormones, and then that's when the inflammation happened. So I started doing banting. At the time it was called banting, of which you don't eat starch, you don't eat sugar, you don't eat all these other things. And I saw my life changing. Like, it was changing to a better because I was no longer going through that pain. And I knew on a month where, because obviously as girls you have cravings, you have times where your eating is out of control and you just have to indulge. If I do that on a certain month, right, I would see by how my body responds. I would go through that pain to a point where I can't control it. And that's when I also discovered yoni steaming, which for me personally it helped so much because I knew at what time I needed to steam for the pain, to avoid the pain in a way. Or if I'm through pain, if I steam within a day or so, the pain is gone because they use natural herbs. I didn't even know about it until that time when I needed to use it. And for me, it was a game changer between changing my lifestyle, being active, understanding how to be active, because anything that is too physical for us doesn't work. Like, if it is too intense, then it releases cortisol, which is a bad hormone for you because it does the opposite of what you want your body to do, which is to lose weight. And sugar is just not good for us because it shoots up our insulin, and once our insulin are shot up, then the wrong hormone is just activated. And one of the things that you will see if you have endo or PCOS is this here, because it's basically the same group as endo and fibroids and all those conditions, but you'll see you get this hair on your chin. So I get ingrown hair where sometimes I just pull them out, but those are some of the common things. Some people get hair here on their chest, but to be honest with you, living with this condition is painful. It doesn't only affect you physically as in the pain, it affects you emotionally because that pain traumatizes you to a point where you know when it's coming, you know exactly what's going to happen. So now what I do usually, if I know I ate crap on that month and the pain is coming, I try and always make sure I have painkillers. And to be honest with you, I can spend the whole weekend pumping painkillers just to get through the pain because sometimes it can go so bad. And then I have months where I'm taking care of myself and all is good. I have no pain, I have no issues. But it affects you psychologically as in mentally, and it also affects your relationship because you have to understand that pain you also go through it during intercourse. So if it's a certain week where you're going through that pain, intercourse is out of the equation because you are going through so much pain. And I am so grateful to have a partner who supports me, and I can only imagine how hard it is for him sometimes because there are times when I'm going through that pain and he doesn't know what to do. And it affects us. It affects us in our relationship because intercourse is part of your marriage. So now there are things like this where you try, and I love the fact that my husband took initiative to educate himself. He made it a point that he understood what the condition was, what the symptoms was, and everything. But basically, I am so grateful for a supportive partner. But guys, living with this condition is not easy. It's hard. It's hard because there's no cure for it. And just knowing that this could be my life forever, for the rest of my life until I reach menopause, it's not a nice thing. And if there's one thing I never ever want to do is ever see myself go through a procedure because of this condition. But I really do hope me sharing this information, it can help somebody who suspect they might have the condition but have never really got to the root cause of it. The symptoms are pains during your period, pain during intercourse, random pains that come during the month that make no sense, or pains that come as you are close to your periods or as you are ovulating. Like some, they even have fatigue. There are times when you're just exhausted and it has no explanation. There are times when you really just don't want to do anything. All those things are symptoms that as women, if you have this condition, you deal with. So my advice would be, guys, if you suspect you have this condition, get opinions. If somebody does not understand what you're saying, get a second opinion until you finally get a specialist or someone who understands what you're going through and they can help you. And also understand your body. Look at the food you eat, look at how active you are, because at the end of the day, the things that we feed onto our mouth, they do contribute to how our bodies react. And it's unfortunate that certain conditions, they are either hereditary or it's just a condition that you come across as a person and you get affected with it, and there's no cure for it, but you have to learn to live with it. You have to learn how to navigate through it and just survive the condition. So yeah, guys, that's all about endometriosis and ovarian cyst. I tried to summarize this as simple as I could, but yeah, guys, it's a tough condition to live with. I do not wish it upon anyone. And each day I learn something about my body, and each day I try and see what are the things that I can avoid to make my life better. Because if you have some control of knowing, if I do this, this happens, then I can stop this, then I do feel it's better than having to always pump medication onto your body. And yeah, for me, that is what it feels like to live with endometriosis. And I'm still navigating through it. And I do hope one day I can get to understand my body 100% to know how to avoid the pain completely. Because I still do have months when I go through the pain, and then there are months when I don't go through the pain. So I am doing the best that I can. But guys, I really hope this video was informative. If you yourself have endo or ovarian cyst, please do share your experience with me on the comment section. Tell me what it is like for you. Tell me what you're using, what is working, what you have tried, you know, things like that. But let's build a community where as women we can talk about these issues, we can discuss these issues, because it was quite painful knowing that I have endo and I couldn't find that much information anyway. Hence, for me, I feel it's important to start this community and we discuss these issues that we deal with as women. But otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to subscribe down below. On the corner there, you can, if you just click there on my little profile, then it will take you straight to the subscription. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave your thoughts onto the comment and anything that you may want to share in the comment. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Bye for now. Until next Wednesday.